Hey everyone, so it's April and the initial leaks proved to be inaccurate. This month's games doesn't include Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but it does contain some pretty good stuff, so let's get into it. First up we have Victoria 3, which is a very in-depth seeming management game, but it can be a little bit problematic to play. I found during the tutorials that tooltips popped up every time I went to click anything and it made it very, very unusable. They should really consider not having the tooltips over the top of the buttons. Also, the game took about 3 minutes to load, so I would heavily suggest that if you're compiling shaders or anything like that, you put that as a message because it seems like the game actually ceases to function. Overall, it was okay. I found some of the naming was inconsistent as well, so it took me ages to find the land on the map that I was looking for. So overall, I kind of gave up. It wasn't for me, but potentially that could just be how late at night I was playing and I just don't think I was in the mood to learn something quite so complex. Next up is my favourite game of the month, Callisto Protocol.
Son of a bitch.
This game is actually pretty sweet and plays quite well on the Steam Deck. It's a bit like The Last of Us meets Dead Space. It's a fairly linear survival horror adventure. You start out by crashing on a prison planet, and then for some reason they decide to incarcerate you, and straight after that there's a zombie outbreak. I'm only a little way into it so far, but I'm having a great time. The sound is very atmospheric, and overall the mood is really well managed. Next is Humankind Definitive Edition. This is a turn-based civilization builder, but it's got a decent pace to it, so it doesn't feel like you're immediately overwhelmed with all the things to do, and it doesn't really feel traditionally turn-based either. I think they just limit you to movement and action points each turn. I did find myself enjoying it, but I'm not entirely sure if I'll go back to it. Next we have Fashion Police Squad. This is a bit like Duke Nukem if your guns killed people with fashion. Kind of less hail to the king and more yas to the queen. I hate myself for that joke. But visually, very, very good looking. Plays literally just like Duke Nukem, but instead of killing people, you overhaul their fashion sense. Now, Terrorformers is another city management game, but it's turn-based and it kind of seems annoying. I didn't really make it through the first few objectives. I played this just after Victoria 3, so I was somewhat soured by that game. So I don't really think I was in the right mindset for a management sim at that time, especially as there's better games that do cities in space without needing some kind of turn-based mechanic. It just wasn't for me. I possibly spent my points in the wrong place early and ended up just stuck. Symphony of War's not bad at all. This is also turn-based. It's a turn-based battle game. You find yourself going through your little pixel art landscapes and then picking fights with people, and you generally get, I think it's 2 or 3 rounds of combat, and then there's a winner at the end. So it's not last man standing, it's just whoever hits the most or takes the least amount of damage over those rounds. And I think that's due to the turn-based nature as well, so you only get so many action points even in fighting. It's not bad. Next we have Coromon, which is a pixelated kind of Pokemon's knockoff, animal cruelty in battles, I guess. It does look very, very, very Pokemon-y, right down to the naming conventions and the characters. It's okay. I guess I'm not the target audience for Pokemon's type games anyway, and I'm not entirely sure why you would play this game over the many, many Pokemon knockoffs that are out there, but it's not terrible. And lastly we have the Excavation of Barrow. This is a point-and-click adventure with some surprisingly good voice acting and atmosphere.
Do you know where I can find it?
Bloody hell, my wife! My tea will be on the...
I'm definitely going to play this more because I quite like point-and-click adventures anyway. Visually it's a little bit like Time Gentlemen Please and those kind of games.
Much better.
So that's it for this month. For me, I'm going to play through Callisto Protocol and Excavation of Barrow. Everything else I'm probably not the target audience for, which is fine. Fashion Police Squad definitely gets my vote for unique and funny game this month. And then the rest are either knockoffs of other game types or just generally turn-based and not my thing. Let me know what you think in the comments anyway. I'll be giving away Humankind Definitive Edition to anybody who wants it. And as ever, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Also, please like and subscribe. I think I always forget to say that. Like and subscribe.